don't care what.
Okay, all right. You know what? Fuck off. I'm going to turn you down. That's the second time I turned you down. You are an imbecile. You're an absolute imbecile, and you're argumentative, right? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're an absolute ignoramus, okay?
So for you to have a transcendental argument, you must start with the coherence of your experience, because what a transcendental argument is the necessary precondition.
That's a proximate starting point.
Experience.
Not a final. That is not a first principle. That is not a first principle. That's a proximate starting point.
But you still have to have it in order to make a transcendental.
No, that's not in this. That's a moot point. Do you know what a moot point is?
Do you know what interrupting is? He wasn't done.
Okay. That's a moot point. Yeah, I'm going to turn you down. Bye-bye.
Stop interrupting.
Okay. Now.
Bye.
Do you understand the nature of the true dichotomy?
And I'm curious. Do you understand why you have to start?
If you ignore my question, I'll just move on to talking with somebody else. Okay, I'm very much accustomed to these kind of tactics that people because you're not dialoguing with me. Do you understand that when we have a proximate starting point? Okay, fuck off. I'm going to turn you down. You're a moron. But you see, because he does not want clarity of thinking, he just wants to fast talk and ignore what I'm saying.
So I'm not really here for the preaching, but we can cover this. But we have to get over this first hump. So all transcendental arguments, the way they work, is they start with the intelligibility of experience. Now, if you don't have the intelligibility of experience, there's no point in making an argument to the transcendental.
Okay, I just turned you up. Okay, I didn't hear what you said. Now, when you start with your consciousness, is your consciousness creaturely or not creaturely?
That doesn't matter. That's not.
Okay. No, it does matter. It's a true dichotomy. Okay. Either your consciousness. Listen, it does matter. Listen. This is why I turned you down before, because you're acting like a little child, and I'm going to call you out for it. Now, I asked you a legitimate philosophical question. When you start, stop fucking over talking me, you little snot-nosed little punk. Okay? Because that's the only way you're getting around this, is to be obnoxious. Now, when you invoke your consciousness as a starting point, okay, either it's a proximate starting point or it's the first principle metaphysically. Which is it?
So when we're talking about our experience, this is the first step epistemically.
No, answer my question instead of giving me a community college lecture.
That's the epistemic beginning. That's always.
I gave you a true dichotomy. Do you need me to repeat the true dichotomy?
Do you not understand how my answer answers?
Do you need me to repeat the question? Because if you don't answer the question, it's demonstrable to everyone in the room that you're being deceitful. Do you need me to repeat the question?
It's fine. Here, let me explain my position.
Do you need me to repeat the question? Do you need me to repeat the question?
Darth, let me.
Do you need me to repeat the question?
If you want to control the room, go back up.
Do you need me to repeat the question? Okay, I will repeat the question. When you invoke your consciousness, are you invoking your consciousness as a proximate starting point or as a metaphysical first principle of all of existence? Which is it?
Darth, you can't play this over talking game.
I'm not over talking. I asked you the question. I think you heard the question. I will sit and listen to your answer. If you choose not to answer the question, I'll repeat it. Okay? Answer the question.
This is the criticism.
If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound?
ISP, please stop.
All transcendental arguments work off of the same principle. We start with the intelligibility of thought, the intelligibility of our actions. And
is that creaturely or not creaturely?
That's not even a part of.
No, listen to me carefully. I am asking you a legitimate question.
No. I'm giving.
Is what you have invoked? Is what you invoke creaturely or not creaturely?
I don't care what.
Okay, all right. You know what? Fuck off. I'm going to turn you down. That's the second time I turned you down. You are an imbecile. You're an absolute imbecile, and you're argumentative, right? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're an absolute ignoramus, okay? I keep asking you legitimate questions about what you're stating, and you refuse to answer them, and you just go on like a motor mouth. This is a tactic that people use all the time, all right?
Darth, I would suggest just go into your room at this point, because
yeah. How about you suggest that you have some moderation in here where this guy, he's not responding to me. He's completely talking past me. Okay.
Well,
there comes a time, you know what? No, he's actually pretending to talk to me while simply talking past me. I asked him a legitimate question. Whatever he first invokes, okay, his experience, I asked him a true dichotomy. He refuses to answer it. Okay. Because what he wants to do is he just wants to be a motor mouth and pretend like he's giving a community college lecture. Either the first thing that you invoke, your consciousness, either your consciousness will be explicitly or implicitly creaturely or not creaturely. That's what I want to know.
Getting old.
Hey, Darth, I think that if he doesn't want to answer like the true dichotomy, then it's not even worth just like.
Good. Then he's not having a conversation. What he's doing is he wants to pretend like he's doing a community college lecture, and he's not even interacting with me. I am attempting to interact with what he is saying. I am asking an appropriate, circumspect question to what he is saying. He refuses to answer this fair, germane question.
Okay, Tartarus, do you accept that Darth's dichotomy is a true dichotomy?
Creaturely or not creaturely?
Darth, what
is consciousness?
I mean, I wouldn't even.
Is
know
consciousness created or uncreated?
I don't know how a consciousness could be conscious and not be a creature. I don't know what that would mean.
So when you invoke your consciousness as a proximate starting point, is it by choice without referencing being created?
So I don't know whether or not it's.
I didn't ask you if you know it. You know whether it references being created or not. I didn't ask you what you know. Do you consciously reference that for example, you said your consciousness. We could talk about a dog in the backyard. We could talk about any proposition or fact. But in this case, we're talking about consciousness. Do you, by choice, when you invoke your proximate starting point of consciousness, do you, by choice, reference that it is created?
So I don't know whether or not I do. Let me explain.
I didn't ask you if you knew it.
Darth,
I didn't ask you if you knew it. No, I'm not going to shut up because you didn't answer the question. I said, does your consciousness, by choice, reference that it is created? Not what you know, it's what you are choosing to reference or not to reference.
Backyard is the example that you gave, right?
No, listen, you're talking past me. You're wasting my time. I asked you a question. Okay, I asked you a question. I asked you a question. Does your proximate starting point of consciousness, does it by choice reference that it is created?
I do not know.
I didn't ask you if you know. You see, this is the third time. This is the third time you've answered the same way. Listen very carefully. You're being argumentative. Listening to me carefully. Do you willing? I'm going to ask you about your will, not what you know. Do you willingly, by choice, reference that your consciousness is created? I'll ask you again. I didn't ask you if you know. Are you willing to acknowledge that your proximate starting point of consciousness, are you willing to acknowledge that it is created? I asked you what you're willing.
I have a rebuttal, if you'll listen.
No, I asked you a question. Are you willing to acknowledge that your proximate starting point of consciousness is created? This is a legitimate man. This is a legitimate question.
Let the guy answer the question.
I don't want to play cross the pond with you. Go do that.
It's not cross the pond. I've asked you a legitimate question. You've already invoked consciousness as a proximate starting point. So the legitimate question is are you willing? Are you willing? You see, you know what? This is why this is a fail. We're not having proper. You know what? You're sitting in here, Banshee, and you're letting this guy run his mouth like the asshole that he is. No, that's not the point.
You're actually
then you should shut him down. Sir. Then you should shut him down for simply being argumentative. I asked him a legitimate question.
He was having a conversation with someone else originally, but then you come to John.
You know what? I asked him. He decided to talk with me. If you don't fucking stop the trolling, you better stop the trolling in here, Banshee.
There's no real trolling going on.
No, they are trolling. They're all dogpiling now.
What? You joined General and you interfered with the conversation.
Okay. Hey, Banshee. Hey, Banshee. I want to talk to you privately in the room above. Okay.
Sure.
Thank God.
What a crybaby.
So to my point.
A few moments later.
It's the gumball analogy, right?
Hey, guys, sorry to interrupt. Do I have your attention?
Yeah, what's up?
What's going on?
He's gonna be banned because he well, he left. He called me a fucker before rage quitting. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
So yeah, he's gonna be banned. He's not welcome here anymore.
Nice.
Rest in peace, the server.
Hey, I wouldn't say that. I have, I think I have quite a lot of people who, like the way the server is currently set up, with all these events and stuff.
Hey, can I have a private word with you real quick?
I apologize if I had anything to say.
No. Okay. We'll save. What is there privately to talk about? You heard me in there. I was as reasonable as I could be. I tried explaining the situation to him.
It's just not for the general public to hear. So
okay, well, fair enough. Okay.